The video begins with Ukrainian troops loading their combat gear into Humvees to launch a counterattack against Russia. The operation was filmed with body cameras of soldiers from the Kalinowski Polk Regiment, a unit fighting on the Ukrainian side, mostly composed of volunteer fighters fighting for an independent Belarus. But suddenly, on the way, a Russian drone attacked their Humvee with pinpoint accuracy and immediately caused a fire.
Ooh.
At first glance, this may seem like a scene from an action movie, but this is not fiction. That's the reality.
Did he jump out of the
soldiers
vehicle?
jumped out of the burning Humvee while it was still moving, trying to extinguish the flames that were burning themselves. Some of them suffered minor injuries, but amazingly, they all survived. The vehicle's protective layer withstood the drone's direct attacks very well. Although FPV drone attacks are extremely dangerous, several moments have been caught on camera when Ukrainian forces managed to disable and shoot down Russian FPV drones. Ukrainian soldiers have been thoroughly trained to ambush and hunt down Russian FPV drones flying past them. Using rifles, Ukrainian troops began destroying the Russian drones one by one.
I mean, how can you tell me this story? Why is the shot so perfect? Why? Is this made up or something? Damn.
But to shoot down a drone flying directly at them is much more difficult. Like this Ukrainian soldier managed to shoot down a Russian drone that was heading towards him. The shot damaged the drone, causing it to go off course, and it didn't even explode afterward. This is in contrast to the Russian troops. They attempted to shoot down a Ukrainian FPV drone that was pursuing their group, but none of the shots hit the target. This time, the Ukrainian drone operator did not target soldiers, but he targeted one of the vehicles located there.
That is 10 out of 10. Yo! That is simple mathematics. I mean, that's common sense, bro. Like, he was like, nah, guys, I don't need you. I need a vehicle. So how are they leaving the field now? Damn. It's not all about shooting, but common sense. Trust me.
This is also the same case. These Russian troops saw a Ukrainian drone approaching them at high speed. They tried to shoot him down until the last moment, but failed to hit him even once. However, they managed to get out of the vehicle faster and safely, which was a stroke of luck for them. Thanks to promptly abandoning the vehicle, the crew did not suffer any injuries. In other cases, Russian soldiers took advantage of the agility and advantages of motorcycles. Despite their lack of armor protection, they can sometimes escape unscathed, even after an explosion like this.
Ooh.
But such cases are rare exceptions. In fact, incidents in the field make motorcyclists easy targets. Having no protection against drones makes them very vulnerable. Even if a rider tries to rely on speed and escape, it is unlikely to work. In this case, Russian troops also relied on speed. They planned to break through Ukrainian positions on motorcycles. As soon as Ukrainian troops heard the roar of motorbikes on the road, They immediately launched unmanned reconnaissance drones. They wanted
So if I understand, it means that everything is about drone now, right? Damn.
to know from which direction the attack would come. The Russian assault group was seen just as they moved into open ground. Surveillance drones captured at least 4 motorcycles moving directly across the field. Then, Ukrainian drone operators launched kamikaze drones to attack them. The speed and maneuverability of the motorcycle were not enough to avoid the Ukrainian drone attack. The first attack was on target. After the attack, the Russian troops began to panic and abandoned their motorbikes to seek shelter. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces remain on full alert, preparing to attack any Russian forces attempting to break through. One of the Russian soldiers almost reached his goal, but a drone ruined his plans. Behind him came 3 Russian soldiers in a 3-wheeled vehicle. Ukrainian drone operators sprang into action. At the last moment, 2 of them managed to avoid direct impact. A Russian soldier looks distraught, holding his head next to a burning motorbike. There was no turning back. They carried away a wounded comrade and tried to hide behind the trees. Ukrainian drone operators continue to attack the remaining groups that are still on the move. Nearby, Ukrainian troops found several motorcycles abandoned by Russian troops. They immediately cut some ropes and used the motorbike. Judging,
I think most of the heavy losses on both sides, that is, at the side of the Russians and at the side of the Ukrainians, is mostly caused by drones. Damn! How can these tiny objects be the nightmare of their opponents? The future is wild.
the soldier holds the handlebars with confidence. It shows that this is a very useful gift. Then the operators deployed another reconnaissance drone to gather information about another attack by Russian forces. They saw a column of Russian armored vehicles heading towards them. As one of the vehicles began to enter the damaged building area, the artillery was immediately activated. The shot seemed to have missed slightly, as the vehicle was still able to move to escape. But when the vehicle reached the road area, a second shot was fired. This time it hit the target, and the vehicle...
That was too accurate! Damn! Fuck!
vehicle was smashed to pieces. The remaining vehicles of the column decided to retreat. However, on their way back, they were continuously pursued by Ukrainian artillery fire. The Ukrainian command post continued to monitor the situation and gave orders to attack. They saw 2 Russian tanks and 3 IFVs advancing on Ukrainian positions. The vehicle in front loses its route, goes off track, and wastes valuable time trying to change position. Ukrainian troops remained calm. They knew that their engineers had prepared the area well, planting numerous anti-tank mines. Russian tanks are finally back on track. The vehicles began to approach. They formed a classic column by lining up and heading straight for the pre-marked death zone. In addition to encountering mines, the Russian vehicles also faced Ukrainian artillery fire.
Гармата, постріл!
The tank leading the column exploded in a horrific fire after hitting a mine. At the same time, Ukrainian kamikaze drones were launched and joined the attack. Everything was burned. The Russian attack was a complete failure.
War is never a good thing, trust me. It is never a good thing. And I think all the heavy losses on the side of both the Russians and the Ukrainians are based on the leaders. And among the two leaders, talking about the Russian president and the Ukrainian president, one of them is not just using the might. I mean, one can just end everything. How many more people are going to die out of this war? This doesn't look like it is ending now. Anyway, so credit to Future 96. I took the video from his page.